Hello, I'm back from my trip to the UK, and originally I wasn't planning on making a video for this, but as I kept taking pictures and footage of the vacation for myself, I figured I might as well have a collective thing that I could look back on, So, yeah, this is the result of that. Obviously, it started with me arriving at the airport. I took a few photos and then hopped on the plane to London. I had the middle seat, my brother was on the window seat, and a random stranger was on the aisle seat. Originally, my mom wanted to switch seats with the stranger, but he had his mom across the aisle and didn't want to switch with us, which, is a fair enough reason. So my mom just sat behind us instead. There were some pretty breathtaking views, as you might expect on a airplane flight, but it was an overnight flight, very boring, 8 hours. Only got 2 hours of sleep on the plane, but collectively, it was more than my brother and my mom combined, so I think I got a pretty lucky, end of the stick there. Yeah, we arrived at Heathrow after the plane circled around the airport for a few minutes, waiting for clearance to land, giving me and probably a lot of other people moderate air sickness. Yeah, I hadn't been outside of Canada since 2018, at least I think. I went to Florida for a cruise back then, so it was nice to be out of the country post-pandemic. You know, Stepped out of the plane, officially entered the UK. That was really exciting. My brother and I joked that we had, just landed back in Pearson Airport, and they did like a whole bunch of renovations while we were airborne. And then because we had watched the show The Good Place recently, we also joked that the people had developed a speech impediment. I promise it's not mean at all, guys. The day we arrived, we didn't really do much. We just stayed at our relative's place and, explored the property. We got settled into our room, ate some food. They're actually really good cooks, so we were eating really, really well during that trip. I might as well put some pictures of food that we had during the trip. They had a billiards table, so I can't even escape the billiards grind when I don't have access to Wii Play. The first full day we spent in the UK, we visited our cousin's former school, Royal Holloway. We only browsed the courtyard and then left, but we also went back there for, a more thorough look a few days later. I don't really have much footage of the school or any pictures really, but I did take some, so yeah, that's probably what you're looking at right now. Afterwards, we went to see some horses, and we got to see some rich people playing polo. I think my aunt took a job reffing and maintaining the games or something, but I don't really know many details about that. So regardless, we got to see horses up close, and that was really cool. During downtime, when we went back to our cousin's house after the polo match, we spent the rest of the day doing one of a few things. We played mahjong, which I didn't know how to play before I went to the UK, so we were taught the rules, and my relatives there, they took the opportunity to teach us the relevant Mandarin characters and knowledge to really make sure that we were just having fun without a purpose, Mahjong, for those of you who don't know how to play, reminded me a lot of Gin Rummy, the card game, but then again, that's not a really common card game to play, so I don't know if that means much to you guys. But yeah, I'm not going to go any further into the details of the game because it is quite complicated, and it was addicting to play, and we easily managed several hour-long sessions each time we played. The other thing we did for fun was karaoke, actually. The cousins that sang with us have incredible voices, and it was fun to sing alongside them or just listen to them perform. One of them did go to school for music. After all, Royal Holloway is a music school. So yeah, the first day we sang, the karaoke machine didn't have many songs that we knew how to sing, or we hadn't listened to them for like a decade, it was just like pop songs, and neither my brother or I listen to pop songs much these days, or really since middle school, so we were just, you know, not that well versed in the karaoke selection. And as a result, the second time that we went to the karaoke machine to sing, my brother figured out how to put YouTube on the TV, and they have a speaker, so it was just like karaoke through YouTube instead. And yeah, then we actually sang songs that we listened to and knew how to sing.
I always thought I might be bad, now I'm sure that it's true, 'cause I think you're so good, and I'm nothing like you.
Day 2 of the trip, we visited Windsor Castle, which our cousins actually live relatively close to. The line to go inside was massive though, so we couldn't go inside to get a look. We couldn't explore the interior or, you know, the exterior. We just saw it from a distance. But, you know, there was I guess an outlet mall, or, you know, a strip of stores and shops that we explored instead. I saw McDonald's there. I don't know why. I thought that was interesting. I just didn't see many fast food restaurants in the UK, so yeah, I also saw a Burger King when I was coming from the airport to the cousin's house, so yeah. We did eat our first UK fish and chips that day, and it was alright. There were still pin bones inside of the fish, and I didn't think it was seasoned well enough, but both the chips and the fish were pretty crispy. The fish was inside very, very moist, and I'd say it was fine overall. So yeah, you probably should get fish and chips when you're in the UK. After all, it is what they're known for, so yeah. Day 3, we went to the British Museum, and historical things aren't really my thing, but there were some great artifacts, such as a lot of Chinese porcelain and some Egyptian mummies and items. And you know, even the Rosetta Stone is kept there, so yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, but most of them were probably stolen, and this isn't even me saying a joke. Like, literally, look at the caption that I saw in one of the African exhibits. So yeah. We also went to the British Museum twice during our trip because my brother likes to be very thorough in his browsing, and we were only able to see half of it on the first going. So yeah, we went back, saw the rest of it with one of our friends. It's a lift! And then, yeah, the place is absolutely massive. I don't think I could give the scale of the museum proper justice in this video alone, or, you know, just by taking footage of the museum at all. So if you ever get the chance, you probably should go. It's one of the biggest museums probably in the world, definitely that I've ever been to, and I'm just blown away. So after the second time we visited the museum with one of our friends, this was like day 6 or 7 of our trip, we went to an Italian restaurant called like Amarcord or something like to that effect, and what I got, the sea bass with lemon dill cream sauce, something like that, it was pretty good. It was like, Italian food isn't really my thing because I don't like cheese, and it was really good. Like, the cream sauce was tangy, it was creamy, the sea bass was cooked perfectly, it was very moist inside there, it had crispy skin, and yeah, even though my brother and our friend were disappointed with their portion sizes because they ordered spaghetti, afterwards I ordered a cannoli for dessert because I wanted to try cannoli. I know it had cheese, but like, you know, so I ordered a cannoli, and the staff, they literally just gave the cannoli to me for free, and then they were like, oh, do you guys want some? So they gave each of us a cannoli for free, and that's really cool of them. I hope they're all doing well today, and, you know, for the rest of their lives. So day 4 in the UK, we did a lot of sightseeing. We took the rail system for the first time. It was my mom, my brother, my aunt, and myself. taking the train was a cool experience. The transportation system is a lot more smooth, it's a lot more efficient, it's a lot more modern than Canada's rail system, transportation system. They had like those seat tables on the back of the chairs like in airplanes. And then when we arrived in our terminal station, Waterloo Station, it was like an entire mall complex. It was really amazing. After we arrived, we proceeded to walk to the London Eye, which was our main destination for the day. It's essentially a gigantic Ferris wheel. Because it's so big and moves so slowly, we were probably inside of it for like 20 minutes, and it gave fantastic views of the entire city, and the surrounding area contained like Big Ben, it contained Westminster Abbey, a lot of other famous landmarks, so it was definitely one of the highlights of the trip. I originally didn't even want to go on it because I thought it was a waste of money. Don't really like Ferris wheels, amusement park rides, stuff like that, but my aunt already bought the ticket, so you know, I decided why not. Though I did quickly discover that it wasn't an ordinary Ferris wheel, and I really enjoyed my time inside. So yeah, definitely recommend. So yeah. That's not all we did that day though. We actually had tickets for a cruise alongside the Thames. It was like a very short one. It was like a 1 hour thing. I was surprised that we got our own tour guide to narrate the cruise. Her name was Rosie, and she was great. She was really funny. She, you know, got us to wave at all the people up on the bridges. She, you know, had interesting and funny things to say about some of the landmarks and objects alongside the Thames. Two things she said really stuck out to me. So one of them, we passed by this object called Cleopatra's Needle, which for those of you who don't know, it's a gift that the Egyptians gave to the Brits. So in regards to that object, Rosie said that here you'll see Cleopatra's needle, which is one of the only pieces of Egyptology that you'll see in Britain that wasn't stolen, looted, or plundered, which just, you know, cements the fact that even Brits joke about everything being stolen in the UK. And then the other thing that stuck out that she said was at the end of the cruise, not in regards to any particular object, she was, in her own words, shamelessly self-promoting her employer. So she was like, and you know, next time you come on the cruise, you can have like this champagne package, enjoy a refreshing beverage while you, you know, cruise alongside the Thames. And we also have a proposal package. You know, make that special day a little bit more specialer for your special someone. We've seen over 6,000 proposals here, and only 14 of which were rejections. I'm pretty sure that same day we went to Buckingham Palace to look around. Well, on our way there, we walked from the Thames to Buckingham Palace. On the way there, while my mom was admiring fig trees, someone nearly pickpocketed her. Yeah, so lots of touristy areas have criminals like that, so to the person who tried to pickpocket my mom, fuck you. Yeah, luckily it was our only encounter with, like, you know, pickpockets, so be careful when you're not in your own country and you're in like a foreign area. Anyways, when we arrived at Buckingham Palace, there was like this huge crowd of people, as you might expect. Obviously, since King Charles, he was in Buckingham Palace when we went to visit. And there's like this giant fountain that is in the middle of this roundabout. There was some royal guards, or I don't know what their position is called, but yeah, they were just standing in the shade or the sun. I was like, come on, man, it's summertime, like, give them a little slack. So yeah, all I could think about was like, yeah, they must be suffering in all that heat. It was fun to see them marching though, and like, you know, just doing their job. So yeah, when all was said and done, we ate a late lunch at a fish and chips place alongside the River Thames where the London Eye was. So yeah, we ate fish and chips there, and I gotta say, this fish and chips was so much better than the one we had at Windsor Castle. First of all, the condiments they gave, it was salt and malt vinegar, so you know, gotta have that malt vinegar, the true authentic fish and chips experience. And then yeah, this fish and chips, like, it was crispier than the other one, which I really enjoyed, and it was seasoned better. So that was again pleasant surprise. And best of all, there were no pin bones in the fish. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that one much better. Day 5 was the day that we went to the British Museum the second time with our friend who happened to be on a trip of her own across Europe. You know, and she happened to be in London, so we took the chance to meet up. I've already talked about the museum earlier in this video, so I'm going to talk about the Tube, which is the London Underground system for those of you who don't know. That was the first time that I went there, and I gotta say, it's a lot more efficient than Canada's system, but it's also a lot more crowded. Like, every single station we went to, even in, like, inside the car, and like, this is like throughout our trip, not just this day, and like even inside the cars it was really crowded. You would be lucky to get a seat on the Tube, and you'd be lucky to even fit in really on some days like rush hour. I also have to mention that every time we took an escalator down into the underground system, it was like nightmare fuel for people with the fear of heights. It's like really tall, and yeah, it's just like you get a sense of vertigo going down the escalator, and even going up sometimes I felt a bit queasy. One more thing to mention about that day that wasn't the museum: the station we exited from, it had this like ethereal looking, you know, thing, just light show sort of. I don't know what to explain. Like you'll see in the footage, but yeah, it's just there, and it was really cool. So day 6 we went to the Science Center, and being a student studying in the field of science, it was the location I was most excited for in the trip. The first exhibit that you see when you walk into the Science Center covered the Industrial Revolution in Great Britain, and James Watt, the inventor who was at the forefront of most of these revolutionary things. So yeah, there was just a workshop replica of James Watt's workshop, and there was a functional steam engine inside the room, and that was really cool to see because we had entered at opening time, so they just put in some fuel and they let it run. There was some steam coming out, but then it actually functioned, and you could see all the like axles and like things rotating. That was really cool. Just like in the British Museum, there was a lot to see, such as exhibits on COVID, astronomy, the information age, so on. There was even one on science fiction, and this one was different because you had to pay an admittance fee. And just a side tangent, the British Museum and the Science Center, they didn't ask for admittance fees. They just have a donation box in several areas asking for if you'd like to support the institution. They don't actually have like people asking, they just have like a donation box. The science fiction exhibit was an unforgettable experience. The admittance fee was like 10-15 pounds, I want to say, but we did spend easily over an hour there, like 2 hours maybe, so yeah, definitely worth it. I can't really, we weren't allowed to take photos or videos inside, and I did manage to get away with sneaking in a bit of footage, but I didn't want to disrespect the protocol too much, so yeah, that's all you get. Sorry, if you want to see it for yourself, then go check out the British Science Center if you're able. Yeah, highly recommend. It's a very interesting place, and yeah, I loved being there. For day 7, our original plan was to visit Cambridge University because one of my brother's friends attends there, and apparently so do some of my friends. And there's a COVID epidemic happening there right now, so unfortunately we couldn't go. So we opted to go for Oxford instead. Before we got to Oxford, we had to find parking, so we had to park at a place called the Westgate Oxford Mall, I think. And yeah, there was a Pride celebration happening there because when we visited there, it was June 3rd, so it was basically the start of Pride Month. And I don't know, maybe I upload this when it's still June, and if not, then sorry guys, but happy Pride Month. So we walked around the Oxford campus for a while, but there was only so much that non-students could go around and see, so we didn't stick around for too long. Instead, we just headed back to Westgate to check out all the shops and, you know, all that, the Pride celebration. And after we left that area, we went to eat dinner at a place called Culture Ramen, and this is culture with a K. And I have to say, that was probably the best meal that I had in the UK, because the ramen was like insane. There was a lineup to go inside the restaurant. That's how you know it's gonna be good. Yeah, it was just amazing. And if you have a chance to get there, go there. Day 8 was our last full day in the UK, and we decided to revisit Windsor Castle, except we actually got to go inside this time. And this place does have an admittance fee. I don't know how much it was because my relatives paid the fees and arranged it for us, but you know, we got some great views of the greenery and the surrounding area, as well as browsing the actual property. We got to see the interior, but it was, again, unfortunately, another no photography, no footage situation, so I only got footage of the gardens and stuff. But, you know, here's some footage of the Royal Guards, of more of them, to make up for it. For lunch, we ate at Five Guys, which was my first time being there, and my cousins actually kept endorsing that fast food chain to us while we were in the UK, and it was fast food. I'm not gonna say it was better or worse than any of the things we have in Canada, but they do give out free peanuts. They just have like this massive tray of peanuts on the counter for free, because they use peanut oil in their frying, the deep fryer, I guess. But the peanuts were like unbelievably salty. I mean, they're free, so I can't really complain, but like, oh my goodness, look at the sex. Our last dinner in the UK resembled Korean barbecue. They just brought out a grill, marinated some meat, and prepared some like vegetables, some salads, and it was really good. It was a good closing meal to round up the UK trip. I mean, we did eat breakfast in the morning before our flight, but it was a proper family get-together, you know? It was really nice. Well, that's it. This is where I've been spending the past 7 nights. 7+ nights. And yeah, I'm gonna miss this place. If it wasn't already abundantly clear, I just woke up and I am going to catch my flight back to Canada. Really enjoyed my trip to the UK. Let's just, you know, do the footage of where I'm going back to Canada. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my trip to the UK. There are a lot more clips of just like driving around and stuff that I took that I thought I would be able to use. I mean, I guess I'm using them now, but like, I don't know, I'm that kind of guy that likes to show the traveling as well as the destination. The UK was a very, very enjoyable experience. For my first time being in Europe, it was really nice to, yeah, just travel around and live life. I'll miss being in the UK. Hopefully I'll manage to find my way there again, maybe visit some of my friends that I've made and actually meet in person with them next time. And I guess that's it. This video took a lot longer. The length is a lot longer than I had anticipated, which is probably why it's taken this long to edit and to actually record all of these clips. But yeah, with all that said, thanks for watching if you're still watching, if you made it this far. And I know this isn't my usual content, but you know, I don't usually travel, so I figure I'd make an exception and make a highlight video of this. So yeah.